What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the video. Let's get right into this part 3 that we're going to be watching of what is a women documentary. Let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time.
Then obviously you can't tell me I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
But just because I feel that way, does that mean that it's true?
I mean, if it's your reality,
Yeah, if it's your reality
it's
too.
truly like none of my business who you
So we all have our own
identify.
realities. What if I said, I want you to say that it's true that I'm a woman? Would you say that?
Okay, you're a woman.
I would also say that.
If you want,
Yeah.
I honestly don't care. Like, whatever makes you happy.
What's true to you can be false to me. So like, it's like.
What if I said that it's true? My truth is that you don't exist. Does that mean you no longer exist?
I mean, if that's your truth, sure. I don't, because it's.
But
like,
you do.
Oh, I mean, if you're saying that I do, then I do.
Well, but even if I said that you don't, you still do, because we're having this conversation.
I mean, are we?
I think so. I mean, I thought.
That's what you think.
Oh my God, bro. I hate talking to people
I should
like
have known
that.
it would be hard to define reality in Hollywood. I should
Holly
probably
weird.
look to the place where truth is the foremost pursuit. The American University.
Indoctrination camp.
What we do in gender studies is not just reduce gender to what psychologists might call individual differences, but rather thinking about gender, and that's not women and man, but gender as a social form, something that kind of infuses itself into virtually all aspects of social life.
Well, let's talk about that then. I guess we should start with, we've got gender and sex, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference between the two? Is there a difference?
I saw that in your questions and I thought, my goodness, this is what we spend an entire semester kind of thinking through. But what
An
we
entire
tend to
semester.
think about in the social sciences today is that sex refers to a set of biological characteristics and gender is a social construct or category. What I think is often misleading about that characterization is allowed to be sort of messy and complicated. But in that framing, when you split them up into these wholly discrete constructs, studies scholars, and really more specifically people who study gender and sex, we're not talking about sexuality right now. In the kind of academic universe that I travel in is that we see how gendered ideas, cultural ideas about masculinity and femininity, maleness and femaleness, both in humans and in lots of other animals.
What the hell does that mean?
So are gender and sex two different things, or?
Well, I think that they both are and they aren't. I'm comfortable saying that gender and sex are two different constructs, but they're deeply intertwined with each other.
We're talking about gender and sex, and there's a lot of controversies there. If we're talking about a trans woman has all of the male physical characteristics, so would that not be a male then? Couldn't we plainly say this person is a male?
Well, I guess it's like, why are you asking the question? I think I want to
Here we go.
understand sort of why that's so important. So if someone tells
Just
you,
to sort of understand reality, you know?
well, I mean, I think when someone tells you who they are, you should believe them. So if a person says that they're a woman or they're a man, then that's them telling you their gender is. I'm not so sure what social interactions would have to do with maleness or femaleness that would
Well,
be.
I'm not even talking about social context. I'm just trying to start by getting to the truth, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really uncomfortable with that language of like getting to the truth. Again, in social life.
Why is that uncomfortable?
Sorry, I gotta pause every now and then. So, wow, he says he's uncomfortable with the truth as a professor who is supposed to basically teach you the truth. I mean, that's what university should be about, is figuring out basic truth. But this guy doesn't seem to live in reality, so I don't even know how he's a professor. This is why we say that these schools are indoctrination camps, because you got professors like this and courses like this and degrees like this that are nonsensical, that make no sense and have zero input to the production of a productive society. So this is really delusional.
Because it sounds actually deeply transphobic to me.
There it is.
And if you keep probing,
There it
we're
is.
going to stop the interview.
There it is.
If I probe about what the truth is?
You keep invoking the word truth, which is condescending and rude. I'm saying to you,
How is the word truth condescending and rude?
Why don't you tell me what your truth is? And you're walking on 30 seconds more of thin ice before I get up.
What my truth is? Well, I don't think I really have a truth. I think that there's just
The truth.
like the reality. And so we should begin by trying to figure out what the reality is.
Uh-huh. And why are you concerned with when someone else tells you that they're a man, or even if they use the word male, why are you concerned with not believing them?
Well, you keep bringing it back to, how do you respond in a social situation? But,
That's what I do. I'm a social scientist.
Well, right, but we're in a university. This is a place of understanding truth, isn't it? Or
Right.
Absolutely. We
But the
pursue
truth
truth, and I'm
So-
a social scientist, and that's what I
But
do.
you just said the truth is transphobic.
That you would say that if you're saying the truth is that I get to say you're not a man, show me your genitalia, that's transphobic.
No, I don't want to see anybody's genitalia. I just mean someone can make a statement about themselves that could be untrue. Like, for example, if I were to say that I'm a black man, would you accept that, or would you be skeptical?
Are you black? Are you African American? Are you biracial?
I don't think so.
I identify.
Look that, and I don't think it doesn't sound like that's a genuine statement of who you are.
Really? Man, this is what I be saying. Just like he brought up that example to the other doctor, the surgery doctor, about somebody wanting to cut off their arms and identifying as somebody that's disabled, she couldn't comprehend how those two can correlate. And the same thing is going on right here with this guy. They're not logically consistent. So when you bring up another example that is in the same category of logic, I guess you would say, they can't compartmentalize it. They can't figure out how those two things can correlate. And it blows my mind. And this is a university professor. So if you think somebody identifying as black and they're white is delusional, how is it not the same when somebody's a man and they want to be a woman? How is that not the same? I don't get it.
Okay, so that's my point. I could make a statement about who I am that's incorrect.
Of course, I think it's well established that human beings can lie, yes.
Or not even lie. I mean, I could just be mistaken.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sure where you're going.
Really? You're not sure?
I guess this all comes back, this all comes down to really one question,
People crazy, bro.
especially women, gender and sexuality studies. So what is a woman?
Why do you ask that question?
Oh my God.
I just really like to know.
What do you think the answer to that question is?
An adult human female
Well, I'm asking. That's why I came to a college professor who's
who teaches it.
this is what you do.
What other kinds of answers have you gotten?
He hasn't.
A lot of like this, where you're not answering, and I've gotten a lot of that. so.
Deflection.
I think it's interesting that you say that some of the people you've interviewed have been reluctant to answer it, and I think that has a lot to do with the questions that preceded it and the way that you've conducted yourself in the interview.
Yeah, because the way he preceded it sets you up to look like an idiot. So whenever he, is going through the interview and asking, the questions before asking you what is a woman, and you finally get to the question of what is a woman, the way you're, set up to answer it makes you look like an idiot. And that's why they can't answer. And that's why they say it's transphobic or hateful, because there's literally no other response for it but for them to tell the truth, which they can't.
Back to myself.
How do you think you've conducted yourself?
You just really don't want to answer the questions, do you?
I came today very willing and enthusiastic about answering questions about women's and gender sexuality studies, which is
So
the
you
work that I
wanted
do.
you wanted to answer questions about women's studies, and so
What is
sure
that?
The first answer you should be able to provide is what exactly is a woman.
Right.
For me, it's actually a really simple answer, and that's a person who identifies as a woman.
But what are they identifying as?
As a woman.
What is
So
that?
what is that?
As a woman.
Do you know what a
Clown.
circular definition is?
What a clown, bro.
I do.
It's sort of like what you're doing right now, where a woman is a woman.
Because you're seeking what we would call in my field of work an essentialist definition of gender. I think it sounds like you would like me to give you a set of
I don't-
biological or cultural characteristics that are associated with one
Just give an
gender
answer,
or the
man.
other.
I'm not seeking any type of definition. I'm just seeking a definition.
Any
I
difference.
gave you one.
Any
Well,
definition.
now I can say I've been to college.
Yeah, let's just stop it there. It's too much to take in. We're gonna stop it there for this video and then pick it back up right here on part 4 because I know he's about to go into another interview probably with another delusional person that we just don't have time for. But I mean, this is as sweet as it gets when exposing delusion, man. This is one of the best documentaries that literally exposes idiocy in our society today. So, but I mean, let me know what you guys think. You know, let's talk about this in the comment section. If this is your first time on the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button for more content. I'll be bringing part 4 here in a day or two. Stay tuned. Thanks for being here, guys. Peace.